Hello and welcome to RetroCore, and today we're going to take a look at something a little bit different. This. Now this is not a Dingoo device, and it's not an Android device, and it's not a Raspberry Pi device. So what is it? Well, this is an Odroid device, and I found this on Amazon Japan. Yeah, Amazon Japan of all places. It's known as the RK2020 or 2020. It says enjoy high quality gaming experience. Alright. On the sides we can see it says retro games, 3.5mm headphone jack and built-in speaker, IPS screen, brightness and volume adjustment. Well, that's done with a combination of buttons actually. Rechargeable 2600 mAh battery, and it uses USB Type-C. All that is correct. On this side, absolutely nothing. But what do we get inside the box? Well, let's take a look. So inside the box we get a few things. Surprisingly, it's wrapped up in bubble wrap. Okay, so we get the USB-C cord. And then we get this. I wonder why they give us this. It's a micro SD to USB 3 adapter. And we have this little thing here. This is actually a little thumbstick pad. So if you want a bit of extra grip, put this on your thumbstick. And we have a one-sheet manual. Yeah, okay, so the contents doesn't look that great, but here is the actual machine, and the actual machine is pretty good. So let's take off this protective layer. Oh yeah, put it in the box. Yeah, this is our Odroid based machine. So we have an analog stick here, feels quite nice actually, and it centers itself pretty good. The D-pad is very nice on it, and we've got some nice buttons, not too mushy. In fact, they have a little bit of a click to them. Top of the device we have the LNRs and LNR2s. We've got a power button, headphone socket out, USB-C, that's to charge it and transfer data, and a normal USB port on there as well. This is to connect an external joypad for two-player action. At the bottom of the device we have this space here. I presume that was meant to be something, but it's blocked off, nothing there. We've got a reset button and a micro SD card that came with it. On the back of the device, nothing at all. No drawer to open up the battery or anything. Just some markings to tell you what these ports are on the top. So as you can see, there's no volume or brightness switches. They are done with a combination of the select button and the D-pad. Anyway, let's switch this on because it has a very nice front end. I think you will be impressed. Now this is not, as far as I can tell, an official Odroid device. In fact, it might be made by the BitBoy people. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that BitBoy might be behind this. Okay, here we are with the front end, and I'm going to show you this completely stock. Everything I'm going to show you is as it was when I got to the machine. All the games were built into it. This front end was on here. I haven't added or done anything to this. This is all as it was out of the box. So let's take a look at this front end. It's really nice. So we've got the Capcom Play System 1 there. And then we've got Dreamcast. Oh yeah. Final Burn Alpha for good arcade stuff. Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Master System, Mega Drive. It's a really nice front end, isn't it? It's much better than the Dingoo operating system devices. Nintendo 64, NES, PC Engine, ports, so that's basically games which are being ported over to it, like PC games and so on. PSP, PlayStation, whatever that is. Oh, there we go, Scum VM, nice, some MS-DOS classic game in there, and the setup scripts. So, oh, and Super Famicom, and all games together. Why is Super Famicom over there? And of course you got a favorites option. Now, we're going to take a look at the emulation later on, but one thing I want to show you about this device. Oops, we don't want to go in there, do we? Oh, that's the file manager. Okay, so we can install a 3DS, or is that just a normal Nintendo DS emulator? Now, the thing about this device is this, what I wanted to show you, is it tries to connect to the internet, as you can see here. It's actually gone in tate mode. So if we press start on the main menu, we can go into the settings, and it does actually have a section for network settings, but it doesn't work because I don't believe this has any Wi-Fi module built in. So this is my internet connection and my password key is all set up. And if we try to enable Wi-Fi, it is enabled. But if we try to connect to anything, it just doesn't want to know. See, status not connected, IP address not connected. So we can't actually connect this online, but we still can add new emulators and so on to it by connecting it to a PC through the USB-C on the back. So that's not too much of a big problem. But it would be nice to have this with built-in Wi-Fi capabilities. I guess they just left that out to save some money. So what we're interested in is how well does this thing emulate, because this is not a cheap device. But I am liking that IPS screen. Look at that. That is a lovely screen. You can see that on all angles. That's a lovely screen. So I'll tell you what, we'll start off with a little bit of Dreamcast, and I'm going to connect the camera up to the actual device so you can get a direct feed on the audio. And I must apologize, I'm so sorry, this video is in 30 frames per second, not 60. Yeah, my error. I've got to set the camera to 60 frames per second, and I've already started recording, so yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, I will give you an honest opinion on how the games are running, just in case you're wondering if they are running at 60 frames per second. Okay, so let's get a bit closer up to the screen and check out some Dreamcast running on this. This is Sonic Adventure 2. And as you can see, it's running really well. Now it is actually running at 240p on this screen here. And the weird thing is, when you boost the emulation up to say 480p or 720p or even higher, it does run it at the exact same speed, but it kind of corrupts the screen. So I'm not sure whether that's an emulation issue or something, but currently you have to run it at 240p, which kind of looks a little bit, how can we say, not as clear as it should look, but it still seems to be running perfectly fine, as you can see here. Next up, let's take a look at some arcade stuff. This is the CPS-1 games. Starting off with Final Fight. And sticking with CPS-1, this is Lost Worlds, or Forgotten Worlds, depending on which part of the world you live in. And as you can see, it's running very well. Okay, sticking with the arcades, this is the Capcom CPS-3, and this is Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
I got the that's what I expect. Into the heat of battle, go for it.
Okay, let's move on to PlayStation and let's take a look at Toy Story running. Again, just like everything we've seen so far, it seems to be running very well, no problems. This device came with 2 PlayStation games built in, Toy Story and what was the other one? Oh, Street Fighter 03.
Corruption plagued the Imperial Court.
Okay, let's stick with the Sony consoles. Here's the PSP. Now, this came with 3 PSP games built in, some RPG, some Naruto game which is completely not a balls, and this is Dynasty Warriors. Again, it's running pretty smoothly, but it seems to be capped at 30 frames per second, as you can see in the top corner of the screen there. Okay, next up, let's take a look at the PC Engine and a little bit of Splatterhouse. PC Engine games all run perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. Now, I would like to show you Sega Master System, Game Boy and Mega Drive and Super Nintendo, but those machines actually came with homebrew ROMs, so yeah. But I can tell you that I have actually seen real games running on those emulators on the Odroid, and they all work perfectly fine, so no problems there. And finally, we'll finish with a little bit of Nintendo 64 and Diddy Kong Racing. So there we have it, the RK2020. What did you think of this device? I mean, it's a nice change to have something that's not, Dingoo or Android operated. And this Odroid operating system can be pretty good when the games are configured correctly. Now, this device here is fairly decent. I mean, it plays a lot of good stuff really, really well. But some emulation, such as the Nintendo 64, does need a bit of work. But I'm thinking, if you tweak the settings, maybe this will run really well. Because as we know, these devices never come optimized. And basically, they just throw anything on here and shove it out into the shops. I mean, got to be truthful about these things. That's what they do. But yeah, so I think with a bit of optimization, this could be a pretty competent handheld device. Now, as I said, this does not have Wi-Fi built in. If it does, it's severely hidden because I can't find it or figure out how to get it working. But you can add new emulators and new games to this device. I also found it very funny that some devices such as the Master System or the Game Boy, even the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo only came with homebrew ROMs. Yet PlayStation, PSP, Arcade and a few others came with actual how can we say, borrowed ROMs of real games. So that's kind of interesting how they've done that. But I can tell you, hand on heart, that I did play some real Super Nintendo and some real Mega Drive games on this, and they work just fine, not a problem. So yeah, I didn't try Master System, real retail Master System games, but they're gonna work. Obviously they are, because Master System is so easy to emulate. So anyway, there you are. That is the RK220. I'm going to put a link in the video description down below if you're interested in picking up one of these devices. And I'll see you next time in the next Retro Core. Until then, keep on gaming and enjoy your games. See you guys.